This is Inside Varsity Sports on the Sidelines Football Edition. Hello again, everyone. Lou Brogno alongside Rich DeKorte. We're here at St. Peter's Prep High School in Jersey City, home of the top-seeded non-public Group 4 Marauders as they get ready to take on the Ironmen of Don Bosco Prep for the New Jersey non-public Group 4 state championship on Saturday night at MetLife Stadium. Second time around for these two teams this year. Of course, during the regular season, it was a 4-point affair. St. Peter's Prep winning 26-22. Hey, we expect more of the same in this championship game.
Yeah, last time was a classic St. Peter's Prep victory. Taj Bullock leading a game-winning drive for the Marauders, but obviously a completely different Don Bosco Prep football team since then. The Ironmen have been undefeated since they beat St. Joe's, I believe, the following week after that game, and have not looked back since. They have been the hottest team in the state of New Jersey, and the Marauders are looking to end that streak on Saturday night.
Well, St. Peter's Prep, as we said, comes in the number 1 seed. They're 10-1 on the year. Their only loss was to St. Joe's in the regular season finale. Don Bosco Prep, what a turnaround season it's been. They started 2-4, and the Ironmen have reeled off 5 consecutive wins coming into this championship game.
Yeah, it's been an incredible run, an incredible coaching job by Dan Sabella and his staff to really get the kids to buy in to what that program is about and to believe in their own talent. And Lou actually had the chance earlier today to catch up with the Ironman head coach over at their campus in Ramsey.
Well, Dan, here we are, championship game. What's your feel for this team heading into this big game?
Well, it's first of all, it's real exciting to be here. You put so much time in, and these kids dedicate so much of their lives to this, make so many sacrifices, and we've been going since that second week of June, and we're extremely psyched up to be here. We think we're playing really good football. We feel good about the way we're playing, and we like our chances on Saturday if we stay the course and keep doing the things that help get us here.
Dan, team started 2-4 this season. Obviously, it's been a complete turnaround, 5 straight wins. If you could put your finger on it, what really was the key to turning things around here?
Yeah, I don't know if there's really one thing. I think just the consistency and the mindset of believing in each other and trusting each other and knowing that, if we stay with it, we know we have the pieces to the puzzle here. It's just a matter of time. And, fortunately, we hit our stride. We started to get a little bit of confidence, and we haven't looked back since.
When you play in this division and you play in this group in the playoffs, there's really no secrets. You know Peters pretty well. What are the keys for your team to be successful against this team that's been such a big play team all season?
Yeah, you said it, Lou. First of all, they're real athletic. They're real fast. Good athletes all over the field. You talked about the big play. They're an explosive, offense. They usually, if you look at their box scores from all their games, they always have, several long touchdowns in both the pass run game. They have return guys who can make big plays in special teams. So you definitely have to be conscious of that and limit that. As always, you have to tackle well. We want to sustain drives. We want to be able to finish drives, which we struggled at a little bit last week. And we want to play complementary football in all 3 phases.
Well, of course, as we said, St. Peter's is a big play team. 3 times this year, they've come back really in the last couple of minutes to beat Bergen Catholic, Bosco, and St. Augustine with big plays towards the end of the game. That puts a lot of pressure on the defense. And 2 of the top defenders for the Bosco D, Arsheen Giles and Dino Borelli, are excited for the challenge in taking on this Marauder offense.
We're very confident, but we know we have to play really good to win, and we're going to humble ourselves and not think like we're the best team and we just beat anybody just coming in. So we're still going to work and be the same person we were versus Joe's, versus Bergen, and try to beat St. Peter's.
So I definitely get some sense of humility and focus that you guys have to kind of keep yourselves grounded. But the way your defense is played, you guys have made such big plays at critical times throughout the year. I got to imagine there's some swagger that comes with that too, a side that believes in your abilities. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we definitely believe in our defense, and we definitely, Coach Ike definitely has this, he preaches swagger and coming in the game being confident. So definitely, yeah.
Was there a point in the year, obviously it didn't start out the way that you guys wanted. The turnaround you guys have had is kind of like the story of the year in North Jersey so far. Was there a point in the year where collectively as a group you guys maybe just started believing, or did you believe all along, and maybe it took some time to translate into results on the field?
We always believed, but like after we beat St. Joe's, that's when we really started, like, we knew we could do it. Like, we knew we had the ability and the talent to win games, and then we just started winning games.
Yeah, it's funny how that works sometimes. Looking at St. Peter's, a team you've already seen before, a game where you can almost argue that you guys were a different team when you played them. From a defensive perspective, they have a ton of weapons, a lot of athletes. What have you seen from them on film?
I know that they have two really good they have a great wide receiving core, and their quarterback's really good, and also their running back. So we're really locking in on the wide receivers, and I'm really watching film on number 1 and number 11.
Yeah, those two guys, Mason and Shipman, I believe, two stud receivers for St. Peter's. You know, if you can boil it down to one key heading into Saturday, how does Don Bosco get its first state title since 2015?
Stop their offense.
It comes down to the final game of the year, the big one for the state title at MetLife. How confident is this football team right now?
We're so excited about the opportunity ahead of us. Like, we all love each other so much, and we didn't get the start of the season that we wanted to, but we just stayed together and just kept on grinding, and this is where it took us.
You mentioned you didn't have the start that you wanted to. I mean, the run that you guys have had since has been sort of the story of the year in North Jersey. Was there a point in the season where you felt something clicked, or maybe you guys believed? Was there a turning point in the year for you that stands out?
Absolutely. We lost St. Peter's, back was against the wall. Another big team coming along, St. Joe's. When your back's against the wall, you got to respond. So we just, like Coach Sabella says, be the same guy. Don't change. Don't get cocky. Don't be lazy. Be the same guy every day. Come to work, do your job. And that's what we did.
Kind of fitting then that you get the Marauders again in the state final game, the game you have to win to get everything. What are you expecting from this one?
A lot of athletes, hard dogfight, a lot of athletes, great receivers, great quarterback, great overall team. Just got to come and fight.
And so, we look at you guys defensively, and I understand that you guys are humble. Be the same guy is very much the ethos that Coach Sabella has preached. But at the same time, I see you guys making a lot of big plays. I imagine that swagger is a big component of your game. I mean, is this a defense that believes in what you can do?
Yeah, we believe in our abilities, absolutely. You see us celebrate, but always celebrate with your teammates, High five, jump in the air with a guy. Don't be over here like flexing, Love the guy next to you. That's why you do it.
Sure. So if we boil it down, final game of the year, 4 quarters away from a state title, how does Don Bosco hoist a state crown for the first time since 2015?
Fight, be tougher, love the guy next to you, do your job, one play at a time. Answer the bell, one play at a time.
Well, St. Peter's Prep playing in their 5th championship game in the last 7 years. And the Marauders, once again, as we said, an outstanding team on both sides of the ball.
They are indeed. And Lou had the chance earlier today to catch up with the head coach of the St. Peter's Prep Marauders, Coach Hanson.
Rich, another outstanding season, getting to the championship game here on Saturday night. What are your thoughts on your team as you go into this game against Bosco?
Well, we're excited. I think this is the point you try to get to. It's the goal before every season. So we're right where we wanted to be. If we could predict this in August, put all the goals on the board, this is number 1 on it. So we're excited.
What's been the key to your team's success so far?
Oh, I think we've been resilient. I think the kids believe. They played really hard. They're a really good group together. I really think they love one another, and they love being out here. And Saturday's bittersweet. You're in the state final, and that's great. But it all ends after Saturday night, and then we regroup. So, but they've been very resilient. Tough kids, and they've worked very, very hard to be here.
Obviously, it's not only the championship game, but it's a rivalry game in the championship game. No secrets when you play against Bosco. What are your thoughts going up against them? They certainly have turned things around the second half of the season.
Well, they played a couple tough teams early, and I think that they're playing with a lot of confidence now, and they should be. They're playing well. They believe in what they do, and you have to impose your will to make that not work for them. So we believe in what we do too, and I think both teams tried really hard to give that game away in the first time we played. They just tried a little harder than we did, But I think, I'm sure they're talking about the same thing up north, and we just need to clean up our act and play a hard game and do, we want to be the most physical team on the field. That's our goal, and be able to function under duress. Those are the two things we put up on the board every week, and that doesn't change this week.
Well, one of the key words that Coach Hanson mentioned was physicality, and certainly that's been the key this year for St. Peter's Prep, a tough physical defense. And earlier, Rich had an opportunity to talk to two of the mainstays of that Marauder defense, Ben Silver and George Rooks, and they talked about putting that tough physical defense on display Saturday night against the Bosco offense.
Ben, you guys have been in some tight games this year. It's kind of been like almost a signature for St. Peter's. You've won some really tight games. What does that say about your guys' ability to play in high-pressure situations?
Yeah, I don't think the pressure really affects us. I think we learn here in the summer and all through the offseason to, battle that and combat that with our effort and our physicality and not worry about what the score is, just play hard. And when you keep playing hard, good things happen. That's what's been happening the past couple games.
Sure. And you mentioned the word physicality. That seems to be a hallmark of St. Peter's and specifically the defense. How critical is being physical to you guys having success on the defensive side of the ball?
I mean, Coach Hanson is always preaching and teaching us physicality, and I think that altogether it's like the cornerstone of what we are. It's the building block. It all starts with physicality.
Sure. And physicality going to absolutely play into a rivalry game with a Don Bosco for a state title on Saturday. Based on what you've seen from maybe film from those guys, and are they a different team than the team that you guys beat earlier this year?
I mean, they're the same guys, but they elevated their play. I think we kind of sparked that in them from the loss that they had. But, we're a different team as well.
Sure.
Stuff changes, so we just got to keep playing, play hard.
What's the key to bringing a state title to Jersey City on Saturday?
My mom always says, play hard, do your thing, have a blast. That's what I'm going to do. Just play hard, have a blast.
George, before we were getting started here, we were just talking about you guys playing in a number of close games. Having the experience of playing in these really tight, high-pressure games, do you think that maybe you guys mature a little bit and can handle those moments better?
Oh, yeah, we're a young team right now, and we're very good at gelling together. This offseason, we worked harder than we ever did before, and now we're just used to it. I mean, we're used to facing adversity, facing all these types of troubles, and now we're proving it on the field.
What has been the key this year for your defense? You guys have been, shut down at times, and you've proved that you have big play capability. What really is kind of what works for you guys?
We get after it. I mean, we're not like controlled defense. We like to beat you, and we like to want to make you quit. That's what we always do this whole season.
One more game for St. Peter's first state title since 2014. What is it going to take to beat Don Bosco?
Everything we got. I mean, they got really good players over there. I mean, people always talk about Jalen Berger and Kyle Manungai, but they got other players too, like Jameer Green, Jake Guy, all of them, and they're good players, and we just got to come out and be better than them.
A lot of interesting side notes to this game between the Marauders and the Ironmen. Of course, St. Peter's Prep has not won a championship since 2014. We mentioned they've been in 5 of the last 7, but they haven't hoisted the trophy since 2014. And on the other side, Don Bosco Prep trying to win their first title since 2015. And another great side note to the Ironmen, trying to become the first team with 4 losses to win a state title.
Yeah, I mean, somebody is going to break a drought, whether it's St. Peter's going back to 2014 or Don Bosco in 2015. As you said, these schools are winners. They are used to winning, and it's going to be a really, really sweet moment for somebody on Saturday. But how do we get there? Oh, Lou, this is going to be a tight football game. There are playmakers on both sides of the ball. So much speculation is going to be on the ankle of Kyle Manungai and how that injury is healed. He shocked everybody coming out at St. Joe's. I did not expect to see him in uniform Saturday. And clearly he wasn't at 100%. He had 2 or 3 carries in that game and mostly just seemed to serve as a decoy, right, to get St. Joe's thinking schematically they have to plan for 2 guys. If he is in and close to 100%, those high ankle sprains can be so pesky. It presents an entirely different look for Don Bosco where, we've seen it all year long. You can have Jalen Berger running that jet sweep, and at the same time, that same play as you see Jalen in motion, there's the threat of Kyle Manungai up the middle. The two-headed monster has been so dominant for Don Bosco. And, of course, on the other side for St. Peter's, there might not be another offense in the state as loaded with playmakers as the Marauders. Obviously, Taj Bullock has had a breakout year as an all-around dual threat quarterback with some home run options on every play with receivers like Jelani Mason or Byron Shipman. The Marauders can run the ball as well. Paul Lefkowitz and Isaiah Rodriguez, such strong backs that they have. They can do just about everything offensively. This game, for me, comes down to the defenses. Who can make plays on the defensive side of the ball to limit the other team's weapons and come up with some points on the defensive side of the ball? That's the difference in this one for me. We have two really tough defenses, an All-American in Cody Simon for St. Peter's and a red-hot electric defense for Don Bosco that really has powered a lot of their run. I mean, the reason they won the game against St. Joe's was the play of their defense in Montvale last weekend.
So it's all on the line Saturday night at MetLife Stadium. At stake, of course, is the non-public Group 4 state championship and also the #1 ranking in the Garden State. Peters Bosco, 7 o'clock Saturday night at MetLife. That'll do it here from St. Peter's Prep in Jersey City. For Rich DeKorte and everyone here at Inside Varsity Sports, I'm Lou Brogno. Thanks for joining us today and all season long. You've been watching Inside Varsity Sports on the Sidelines Football Edition.